everyone, my name's Adriana and I'm here with S.E.E.C today to talk to you about vernal pools. So vernal pools are very special and important to our ecosystem, and they serve as temporary breeding grounds and habitats for a lot of important animals during the springtime. So today, the first half of the video is going to be covering what a vernal pool is and what you might be able to find in one. And the second half of the video is going to be actually going outside and exploring our very own vernal pool. So let's start by breaking down the word vernal pool. So vernal means spring, and pool is a collection of water. So vernal pools are temporary bodies of water that aren't connected to streams or rivers. And they collect water over the winter, and as snow and ice melts and rain comes in late spring, they turn into temporary ponds, but they dry out during the summer. So vernal pools can come back year after year, and they can be found in a lot of different places, but usually lie at the bottom of a hill where water collects. And like I said before, they're found in a lot of different areas around the country, but today I'm going to be showing you one found in upstate New York. So here's a picture of a vernal pool, and like I said before, it kind of looks like a pond, but remember that it dries out during the summertime. So next we're going to be talking about some of the animals we might be able to find in a vernal pool, and we're going to start with the caddisfly. So caddisfly are really important winged insects, and they depend on vernal pools for their larval stage. So that's right before they mature into winged insects like this. So caddisfly are really cool in that they build their own house out of mud and broken down leaves and maybe some stones. So this is the larvae inside the little house, and sometimes after they hatch from this house, you can find just the house, the casing around. But I'm hoping today that if we find some caddisfly larvae, we'll hopefully find the caddisfly in their house. And that's what they would look like as an adult. You might have seen these around in the summertime too. Next, we might find some mosquito larvae, and although some of us might shy away from mosquitoes during the summertime, I know I am not a huge fan of them. They're actually really important food sources for a lot of other animals like birds and bats. So something really cool about mosquito larvae that you might find in a vernal pool is that they have this thing called a siphon, and they hang upside down in the water, and that siphon they use to breathe air, so that's pretty interesting. Another thing, I don't know if we'll find today because it's a little colder, but maybe later in the spring, we might find some tadpoles. Specifically, I have been hearing when it is a little warmer at night, some spring peepers. So spring peepers really depend on vernal pools for that tadpole stage because they like that wet, depressional wetland for a nice habitat for them. The last thing we might find around a vernal pool, and their eggs actually might be in and around the vernal pool, is an eastern red-backed salamander. So sometimes if you're walking around in the woods and you flip over some logs, you might find these friends under those logs, and I highly recommend going outside and looking for them. Just make sure that if you do flip over some logs and find them, that you flip over that log right back in the same position, because these are homes for these wonderful animals. So now that we know a little bit about vernal pools and what we might find in them, we are going to go out and explore one. So let's go. Hi everyone, and welcome back. Thank you for joining me at this vernal pool. So I'm going to turn this camera around so you can see. So this is really a very large vernal pool, I think, compared to what I've seen in the past. And as you can see, there's a few smaller ones back here that are really, really cool. So a few disclaimers before we start. So it's a little colder out right now, so I don't know how much we're going to see. I did find some really cool things I'll show you later. But in terms of finding egg masses for frogs or salamanders, I don't know if we'll see that. Another thing to note is that we are exploring this vernal pool during the daytime. And usually a lot of these animals come out at night, but obviously it would be a little difficult to show you that in a video at night and to be able to see everything. So I'm just going to show you some things I found so far. So as you can see, this vernal pool has a lot of different decomposing things. It has some dead leaves and sticks and twigs and logs that are decaying, and all of these things serve as a really important habitat for a lot of different animals. So far I've been able to find some mosquito larvae. I've been able to find some, I found a few caddisfly larvae, but I couldn't get them to show you all today, I'm sorry. And I found some other invertebrates, insect invertebrates that I can't quite identify. So maybe I will take a picture of those and post those in the comments, and if anyone knows what they are, they can let me know. So let's get a close-up of this vernal pool. And I know that there's a glare on it, so I don't know how much you'll be able to see, but I will try my best. So here we go. So you can see lots of leaves, lots of mud, and like I said, vernal pools aren't connected to rivers or streams, so this water is stagnant, which means that anything that's living in there won't be at risk of getting swept away by fast rushing water. Alright, so I'm going to show you some things that I found, and I actually found something I wasn't expecting to, so I'm excited to show you. So here in this bucket, I'll give you a minute to take a look. And what you can see here are a lot of little squirmy friends, and these I believe are mosquito larvae. And if they weren't in this bucket, like I could see in the vernal pool when I was watching them before I scooped them up, they were all had their siphons hanging up towards the air to breathe that air, which is really exciting to see. You might notice a little orange thing, and that was the animal I wasn't expecting to see, which is why I didn't talk about it in the first video, and that is called a fairy shrimp. And fairy shrimp are freshwater, and they also rely on vernal pools to survive and carry out their species. So I was really excited to find that, and very excited, and that is actually why I made a second video to make sure I included that fairy shrimp. There's a lot of algae in here that I'm seeing, and there's also some smaller insects and smaller larvae that I can't quite identify right now. I think it would be a lot easier if I had a microscope, but because we're all staying home, I don't have that. But I will try to get some better pictures and post them later. So yeah, now you can all see how cool vernal pools are, and that they're actually a lot more important than maybe we thought they were. So I really recommend that maybe at some point, if you're bored, maybe you can explore a pond, or your local park, or even your backyard. You might not even realize you have this. So I really wanted to thank you all for joining me today, and I hope you learned something fun. If you really liked this video, let S.E.E.C know, and if you have any cool pictures you've seen or you found of things that you found, post them in the comments below because we want to see them. So thank you guys.